Hi, I'm Hoshea from the House of Israel, Ohio, and today we're going to go over the 8 steps to sanctification. First of all, we want to establish a difference between sanctification, which is the word Kadesh, and holy, which is the word Kadosh, or you may hear someone say Kadosh. There's a difference. Kadesh is to prepare for the master's use, sanctify. To prepare for the master's use, sanctify, Kadesh. And Kadosh is set apart for the master's use, or being set apart, period. Now think about this. Sanctifying is preparing. So when I prepare something for the master's use, this is a very big misnomer. I am saying that here I have done everything necessary, either according to the steps that you gave me, or I've just done the consecration necessary, and now I'm going to present it to you so that you can use it. Now, it is still up to the Father to say, holy or not holy. You cannot make anything holy. Holiness is Father's determination. There's nothing in the world that you can ever say is holy but what Father says is holy. You can't take a day and say, oh, my holy day is Sunday. No, there is no day that he has said holy besides Shabbat or the 7th day. You can't sit there and take the floor inside your congregation and be like, take off your shoes. You can't walk on this ground because this ground is holy. Unless Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh came down from heaven itself and said the place or your address is holy ground, then you cannot set something holy. But you can sanctify it. You can say that this ground is sanctified. This ground is set apart for Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. This day is set apart for Yud-Heh-Vav, prepared, I should say, prepared for Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. This ground is prepared for Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. And you can prepare something for Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, but unless he says it is holy, you're only sanctifying a thing. And so we're going to go over the 8 steps to sanctification. How do you prepare yourself for the master's use? And these are just a little fun steps that I came up with, and I kind of tossed it around with some other elders and leaders and stuff like that, see what they thought of it. I definitely want to hear your opinions down below. So let me read them all real quick, and then we'll go over through in depth, and hopefully we'll get some feedback. Soul Bondage is a book that takes the Christian charismatic demonology deliverance ministry and challenges the reader to look at principles. Maybe it's not the right prayers, maybe it's not the right healing, maybe it's not the right words, but maybe there are principles in play that gives Hasatan legal precedent on your soul, legal precedent in your life, legal precedent in your finances, your emotions.
Find out more at soulbondage.com.
Here we go. Step number 1. You're not who you think you are. You could be da'af and not yada. Da'af meaning a collection of data versus the true you. Step 2. Goodliness is not godliness. Good people still need conversion. 3. Sanctification is daily. 4. Woman, are you ready to submit to man? And men, are you ready to submit to Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh? Submission is key. Number 5. You have to fight infirmity, grounded faith. Number 6, you have to be honest about yourself. Number 7, deliverance. In obedience, you get to deliverance. And number 8, have a palate or appetite change, redemption, walking out the living Torah. Number 1, you are not who you think you are, da'ah versus yada, a collection of data versus who you truly are. A lot of times people go through their whole life and all they do is collect information, and then through all that collection of information, how you see someone act on TV, you adapt their personalities. I like the way they do that. I like the way they dance. I'm gonna add that to my character. And so you become a collection of different personalities, and you really haven't took the time to intimately know who you are. And what I mean by that is that from the beginning, he designed you and created you with a purpose, a call, and a potential already built within you, but you have to discover it, but you only discover it through the intimacy with Messiah Yeshua. 2, goodliness is not godliness. Good people still need to convert. Yeshua put it like this: there is none good but Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, the Father. It's because we are in a state or status of dysfunction. No matter what we do in our heart and how hard we work, we will not be able to ever reach that form of godliness through just keeping commands. All right, number 3, sanctification is daily. You have to openly daily choose to set your day apart, set yourself apart and say, look, Father, I'm preparing myself for you to use me. You have to choose to allow the Father to use you daily. This is not something that happens automatically. It's not happenstance. It's not just because you're Hebrew or just because, you didn't say the right amount of humany-shumanies. No, you have to choose to allow him to use you every day. Number 4, women, are you ready to submit to man? And men, are you ready to submit to Yud-Hey-Vav-Hey? Submission is key. And so the same way that the woman is supposed to submit to man and the woman is under submission to the man, is the same way that the man is supposed to submit to Yud-Hey-Vav-Hey. So think about it. The same respect, the same honor, the same diligence, the same attitude, the same servitude, the same servitude that you want from your wife or from women is the same respect and servitude and everything else that you should be having towards Yud-Hey-Vav-Hey. So let me ask you, when's the last time you cooked Yud-Hey-Vav-Hey meal? When's the last time you got Yud-Hey-Vav-Hey his slippers? When's the last time you got the master, bath ready? Number 5. You need to fight infirmity, have grounded faith. Paul talks about this in Romans chapter 6. Matter of fact, all the way up to Romans chapter 9, 10 maybe. Chapter 9, chapter 10. He talks about infirmity. And because the reason why he talks about infirmity, because infirmity can be a state and it can be a status. So you have to watch when it comes to infirmity, because you could be stuck in a status of infirmity for years. You could be sitting there always going up and down, in and out, and not having no decision about yourself. Constantly in a state of indifference for years, when Father wants us to be grounded. He wants us to be firm. He wants us to know that we know that we know that we know. Now, Paul says the solution to fight this emotional and spiritual conflict, this infirmity that's going on within yourself. He says the way you fight this, he says you just have to discern the difference between spiritual and carnal and decide what side you're going to be on. The spiritual side or the carnal side. Number 6, you have to be honest with yourself. Mark chapter 4, Luke chapter 8, and Matthew chapter 13 says the only ground that will ever produce in the kingdom is the ground that has an honest and good heart, who listens and obeys. And that honest and good heart and has that understanding, that honest and good heart, that's that person that says, you know what, I recognize and I know that these are my areas of flaws. These are my problems. These are here's my honest confessions. He said, by your mouth you make confessions unto repentance, and also unto your mouth you make those confessions unto damnation. So your confession could save you, those confessions could damn you. But when you're being honest with the Father, being transparent, you're throwing it all out there. It ain't like he don't know, but he wants you to be transparent. He wants you not to hide it. He wants you to just throw it out there. He already knows, but the evidence of that you have an honest heart, the evidence that you're ready to move on, the evidence that you trust him, the evidence of intimacy is actually exposing it and expressing it to him. Number 7 is deliverance. In your obedience, you get to your deliverance. And so as that potential in you begins to stir, you start to walk in that deliverance. You start to walk in that obedience. And as you do those things in obedience of what Father has told you to do, then you're starting to be delivered. Every step becomes a walk of faith, because he told you to clean your room, you clean your room. And as you clean your room, you get delivered from the belt that your parents said is going to bring you for not cleaning your room. It's obedience that equals to that brings you to that place of deliverance. And even in the scriptures where we see a miracle, there's always an act of obedience that's necessary. Even in those places where people had a miracle, go wash yourself in the Jordan, go show yourself to the priest, whatever it is, there's always a step of obedience. Number 8, have an appetite or palate change, redemption, and walking out the living Torah. Living Torah is, of course, a concept that's not very popular, not very familiar with most people. But when we're talking about the living Torah, we're talking about a Torah that's not written on stone, not a Torah that's not written on pieces of paper. We're talking about a Torah that is spoken, a Torah that is personal, a Torah that is specific to you. We're talking about a command that only Father can give you, a command that Father has ordained and anointed and appointed for you. And when you have this command through hearing, listening, through this understanding and listening and in your honesty, you're able to get this command, and then you start walking out that command. This is what changes your appetite. because now your focus is no longer on always playing the defense and be like, oh, I can't do wrong, I can't sin, I can't do wrong, I can't sin. Now you're on the offense. Now you're moving forward. Now you're in aggressive mode. You're thinking more about how can I get, or how do I go about accomplishing Father's will versus how do I not break Father's will today, or how do I not sin today? It's a horrible place to be. I tell you, to see people trapped in their mind, not be able to not let people in, and nor let anything out, and not being honest. I mean, it's a horrible place to be. You're just trapped within yourself. You have to be set free. These are the 8 steps to sanctification, to be set free, to start walking in Kadesh, to start walking in holiness, and start walking with the Father. So for right now, just remember, keep the Torah, keep the Spirit, and do what's right. I'm Hoshea, and I'm out.